Yeah, it's fine. What I did is I've let everyone just come in. Anyone who wants to come can just come in, right? So there won't be people in the waiting room. I know Paul said he's coming here. I don't see anybody. Let me check. She said 2 people entering the waiting room.
So you can take a picture.
Kasi
Everyone
and
Everyone here, I can miss.
she is, because the children are, so she has to be.
That's how much we expect.
Little.
It's a very little.
How much?
If everybody pays.
You see, I'm right, hey? Okay, so who do we have? Who's in the meeting with us? Yeah, I can see Mr. Kasi. I think, Ma'am Tepi, would you be able to keep the children a little bit quiet? Because there's going to be a lot of interference in the Zoom.
Yes, Ma'am Kepi said something.
I'll do that with the salaries.
Yeah, I've done this. I've completed it, so I'll send it to you.
Sorry, Ma'am Tepi, but it's just Mr. Pino is apparently doing something.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Paul's on his way,
Anyway.
and it's going to interfere a lot with this,
Yeah.
with the sound. Mrs. Tamang, do you want to stay there, or are you going to come and join us on this side?
Who's driving? Who's there?
So we've got Mr. Kasi and I think Taranika's mom, but I can't see Taranika's mom. I did.
Hi, Ma'am Kathy. I am here because I'm actually unable to attend at the school premises.
Okay, that's all right. I understand if some people can't attend. I was hoping that we could just resolve some of the what would we say, challenges that we've had and try to make sure that everyone can be happy, right? And can be, yes, I need some paper, thank you. So that everybody can feel happy and we can manage it better. Okay, so welcome. It seems to be 2 people, but there's Kasi and there's me. But now where's Taranika's mommy? I did let her in. Paul said he was on the way. So I presume Paul will be here any minute and then we'll start. Okay, what I thought we would do, and I don't know if that's all right with you, is I wanted to allow each person to please tell me what their concerns are and what their concerns are with what we've been doing, if there's anything that they do like, and what their hopes and wishes would be, right? And then we can see whether we can accommodate and see how we can make it work. So, Mr. Kasi, would you like to speak first? Because Paul's still on the way, but
Okay.
we can in quickly. Tatavir's daddy.
Okay, no problem. That's fine, Ma'am Kathy. Look. Yes. Okay, so sorry, I'm just getting into the car, going to another meeting as well.
Oh, shame. So you're going to do it while you drive. I know the feeling.
Yeah. So look, I must say that I'm not dissatisfied in any way with what's been going on, etc. I just want to understand the structure a bit more. I do understand as well that, you know, as an organization, you guys did have some issue with Wi-Fi and connectivity of that. So from that point, I do understand. I mean, it's technology and you have to be understanding with regards to that as well. I don't have any issues. I mean, Ma'am Lerato is fine. She's perfect. Don't have any issues. The main concern that, or I have, or not really concern, but just a slight worry, is just to understand, because Ma'am Lerato will also know that I did ask her if Havi is missing out any information, because I don't want there to be sort of a lag between what the kids are doing at school and what is taking place online. And just
Okay.
more from a structure point as to the lessons. Because I know sometimes there's, like I said, connectivity issues, but just to know that, for example, a maths lesson is going to take place at 8 or at 9 or at 10, so that nobody's running around they're constantly looking at the phone if a links come through from that point of view.
Okay.
I just
All
don't want
right.
Haviv to be jeopardized in any way.
Okay, then I understand. That all makes sense. Okay, thank you. Is there anything else?
No, that's what it.
Okay, so it's basically just the structure and getting the information clearly and timeously so that he doesn't fall behind the other children, right? And understanding how the
Correct.
program's going to run. Okay, Taranika's mommy, have you got anything you'd like to contribute?
I don't think she's on, ma'am. I think it's just yourself
Okay.
and me.
But now it says she's here, Taranika Governor, but she's in the waiting room and I keep admitting her and she doesn't come in. How are you? Would you like? Okay, there's one in my office. All right, so here we have Mr. De Palma, Oopsie Daisy, and Mrs. Dada. All right, so it's the mummy of Nathan and the mummy of Keon. Right, I've tried to admit Taranika's mummy. There's Taranika's mummy. Taranika's mummy, please, would you give me any input that you would like me to know about? Anything that you're unhappy about? And any suggestions you have or concerns that you have so that we can, I want to go through each person individually. She's muted. Should I unmute her? Okay, so should we start with the people that are here and then we go back to Taranika's mommy? Okay, so Kasi, Mr. Kasi, who is Javir's daddy, right? He said that he's not dissatisfied. He says that he just wants to know what the structure is and have more information put out clearly so that he knows if there's a maths lesson at 8, there's a maths lesson at 8. Yeah. He knows there's been problems with the connectivity, but he'd just like to have the things given to him clearly so that his little boy doesn't fall behind, right? Do you have anything to say from your part? Anything you're unhappy with? You don't have problems.
No, and I think you're a little bit ahead.
You are?
Oh, way ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know whether you can hear, but basically, Dada doesn't have any problems. And she says she feels the online children are ahead. I'm going to take this off. And Ma'am Lorato agrees. She says, yes, they are. They're definitely ahead. Okay, so Mr. De Palma, what are your concerns?
Okay, so and maybe I'll just go to tell end of one or two of the lessons. The one that, and I sent you the picture of the French class. I mean, we had the board there. We got the screen looking there on the, and Nathan saying, Dad, how do I follow? There's nothing on the board for me to see. So little things like that that need to be addressed. I think the punctuality of it absolutely important. In terms of, knowing when the class is, I mean, we missed a lesson this afternoon, right? Not?
You missed a lesson.
Yeah, we missed because now all of a sudden the message Nelsa got was, there's nothing this morning because you're writing an exam.
Oh, and then there was a spelling test, but then they knew about the spelling test. They knew later on I would ask them about the spelling test.
I don't know. I'm supposed to chat to Nelsa and see that, that she's.
So Javir, I must admit, is it Daddy? Somebody here says Javir. Should I admit him? Okay.
So in terms of.
So it's punctuality, visibility of this board, etc.
Yeah, so the visibility of the board as well. Yeah.
You said something about the involvement of the children in the class.
So Nathan's, for instance, saying, Dad, I want to ask questions, but I can't get the teacher's attention. So.
Okay, so attention. Anything else?
I think those are the primary issues. I mean, if I've got to assist you with technology, in whichever way I can, in terms of making the screens more visible and that kind of stuff.
So basically, the classes are splitting, as soon as possible, right? So at the moment, they're busy building the classrooms and I'm interviewing. I'm not going to lie, I haven't found the correct teacher yet. I don't want to compromise. I'm not going to take second best. And we keep getting drop-ins and pushy people. So we're waiting to find the perfect teacher. I'm not talking about a teacher for online. I'm talking about a teacher for when we split the group. My concern was that a lot of parents were feeling and believing that they didn't have what they had last year, right? And I can understand that because last year you had a teacher dedicated entirely to you. But what you need to understand is that when Ma'am Lou did it in the beginning, Ma'am Lou did it for love, right? When Ma'am Piri did it, we subsidized her so that she could keep the children going. If you look at the income that comes, it becomes very difficult because 5 children, even if they paid full fees, which they don't, because one is a third sibling. So there's a massive discount and the other one is a sibling. So we're looking at an income of about 4,000 Rand a month. So my problem is I need to grow it. If it grows, absolutely, I will get a teacher and the teacher will be dedicated solely to the online. I'm not convinced that that is the best way to go. Because if you do that, the children don't have the interaction with the class. So my idea is once the classes are split, and it's a little bit easier because, to be honest, Ma'am Lerato has coped absolutely commendably because she's still a young teacher. She's just started at the school. No, I know. But she's just started at the school and she's been dealing with, and I hate to tell you this because it's not what I promised you, but she's been dealing with 28 children. Hey, it's 28 children in that class and the online. And the children in the class are the most outspoken, bright, enthusiastic, and demanding children I have ever met. So the little girls are total little madams. And the boys, you've seen how they are. They're very vocal. So I'm proud of them and I want them to be that way. But for Ma'am Lerato to cope with that is a massive task. So the concern, there was a miscommunication with the music, Paul, and I'll tell you why. Sir Sakile had sent a message out saying that he would do the class with the online learners on Saturday or Sunday, right? But Ma'am Lerato put the computer on in case there was anybody that wanted to have it, just to be part of it. But he had sent the message out prior to the lesson and he was teaching, not Ma'am Lerato. So she does try to share the screen and do that kind of thing, right? Which is what we need to do. Ma'am Lou's going to sit and give her some more hints and tips because she's learned things. She's actually been doing an online training course with the Zoom just because she loves it and she's interested. So she's going to sit with Ma'am Lerato, myself, a few of us, and enrich us, the ones that have to Zoom. So what I would like to do is I would like to, if possible, we're going to do much better structure. That's not a doubt. We will do that.
If it's just there's a parent not facing the board or not, and it's forgotten and you're expecting the little ones to follow.
They have to be part of the class and I want them to have the same amount of attention and I want them to be able to ask questions. Absolutely, it's their right. Now, the thing that I want them to be able to do is to participate. So ideally the teacher, what Ma'am G used to do, but it's been impossible for Ma'am Lerato with the volume of children and the 2 classes. But she used to start the class after the other class. So I don't know if you remember, she used to teach online in class, right? And get the class going. And then half an hour later, she would teach the online. So by then the class was going and they were doing their work. So it wasn't as difficult because she could then focus on the online totally. Now what Ma'am Lerato has found is that it's not possible because in that class, it's not even just the number. There are a lot of children that were not with us at all last year and they are so far behind. They're lost. So they don't understand. So our children will take out their maths book, they'll put a maths date, they know what to do, they start the lesson. These children won't pick up the pencil. They won't know what to do. And then the one little boy said to me, Ma'am, he was in an interview with me and he was saying, I'm so sad. Remember, I don't think you were here, hey? He was saying, I'm so sad. I don't know how to do this. He said, the children are so quick. I don't know where they find the answers, but I can't even think, and their hands are up. So that is the problem, right? So we've got such a huge gap because the ones that were online last year were working with grade 2 and 3, even though some of them were in grade 1, and they were being extended and they did so much. So I'm not saying it's an excuse. I'm not making an excuse. What I want to do is we will make it more organized. Ma'am Lorato, we're still trying to see who's going to fit best with grade 2 and who's going to fit with grade 3. She might stay with grade 2, right? Because I've got a very interesting grade 3 teacher that looks like it could be someone we want. But we will finalize that and let you know as soon as we make the decision. And we will send the timetable out for them in advance. So they'll have their timetable like the other children have their timetable. Their times might be staggered a little bit. For some of the lessons, parents, we will have to do the online afternoons or Saturdays where the children need that one-on-one focus. They can't get it if, you know, you're trying to be here in front of the, because Zoom, we can look at other, what did you call them, Paul? Other teams and things. But the problem is that Zoom is made for meetings where you sit in front of your computer. Yeah. I can tell you Skype does work a bit better. I don't know how you find it, Paul, you're the expert, but when I have a birthday party and I have family in Australia, family in America, family in England, we can all be around the table, right? And have the computer in a corner, do a birthday cake, sing, talk to each other, and they hear. Whereas when you're on Zoom, when you're not focused on the Zoom and you move away, they don't hear. And when children in the class say something, somehow they don't hear. Yes. 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 So you see, and I know that that happens because it's happened with older children too. I know it happens, and it's happened when I've had to try and record lessons. So it's true. It's made for somebody sitting in front of it. So it's worked with Ma'am Lou when she teaches English because she'll teach the class like I'm doing the Zoom meeting now, and I'm in front of the computer, right?
So if we get you a separate camera, you don't have to have the computer facing the board.
Okay.
So things like that. So you can still then at least, Larata, you can have the laptop close to yourself. It doesn't have to be facing the board. It doesn't have to be awkwardly positioned. And you can probably then be that much closer to your online students. That is a suggestion and it may work, but there is a problem with the board, irrespective. Even when I've had children trying to look at the board, it tends to get a sheen and a glare that makes it difficult. And the writing is not that clear because we use different colors. You know, the black, if it were black and it were bold and it were thicker, they would probably be able to see it better. So I find that sharing a screen works much better. So board work for me, and you need board work a bit, doesn't work that well for Zoom. Ma'am Lou has a computer with a stylus, and she also has a phone with a stylus. So she writes on the, you know, and they can read her writing. When I have to write with the mouse, and I did it over the weekend when I was teaching, it was very difficult. So yes, you could read it, but it was messy. So what I'm saying is, I will send out recommendations to the parents and we can do more. And I want you to be happy. I really do. And I want this to grow, right? And in terms of the fees, I realize cost of I've got to pay, and I talk for myself, I've got to pay full fees for Nathan, so yeah, it's fine. You see, that was the thing. If parents were paying full fees, which I know one child here is because he's only there temporarily, right? What I did say to parents is if you go online and we're full, we've just noticed that we've got 160 something learners, right? And we only wanted 150. So basically we're full. What we said is if we could have full fees from these children and we had a couple more, we would be able to have a teacher that does only the online. But you need to be sure that that's what you want because the interaction is really nice. There's the other thing that we did last year where the children came once a week. The other children finished early and then they came just in the afternoon for help. It worked with the older ones. It works with assessments. The other thing is that we can do is if you have a day where there's the subjects like French and it was French and global perspectives and music, you know, the music, they need to be here. So they can't do it online. There's a delay. It doesn't have the same sound. It doesn't work. So if they wanted to come in, say, for their music lesson, maybe their French lesson, there are 3 of us that can handle the French, so they don't even have to do it in a group situation if parents are worried about the COVID.
You know, we could do like, I could do a child with, or we could do little pairs or something. We could look at that. We could look at that and see how we can timetable it. We just need to be careful because our time is so short. But we are getting more staff, so it's going to get better. So, okay, so with respect to clarity, we will send you a timetable for the online with the exact starting times, probably staggered a bit. Structure.
Credentials change every time, or can one use always the same one? That one can then create a link for Nathan or whoever on the PC.
I think it changes when you book your meeting. But what people must know is that you can rejoin the same meeting again and again,
which
right?
in itself is a challenge because sometimes the passwords work, sometimes it doesn't.
But you mustn't put in a password. You must just click on the link.
If you're getting the link on the PC that you're working on.
Oh, okay.
Which is what NASA does.
So maybe you could put the WhatsApp on her computer because it really helps. Then you just click on the link and then you're in the room, right? And if you lose again, you just click on the link. And what I do is I try, and it didn't work here. Obviously, someone is in the waiting room again. Oh gosh, why is she always in the waiting room? I've admitted her so many times. Okay, so basically, if you ever have a problem, and most lessons just carry on. So you just rejoin on the same link. I learned that and I didn't enjoy it at all when it was the principal's meetings at the other school, because they'd go on for 2.5 hours and he'd always say, just rejoin. And I would switch off my camera and try to drink coffee to stay awake.
Would it be a lot of a challenge to start out?
Well,
yourself,
it's everybody, and the parents have downloaded the Zoom, and it's the most widely used one. I spoke to my son, Steve, you know, he's developed the apps for the schools, and he says it's just the most widely used one, and it's very user-friendly, right? People have learned how to use it. You can share the screens very easily. You find with sharing your screen, hey, Ma'am Lorato? So there's little things you can do that the children have learned. I like Skype. I don't know why other people don't like Skype. I really enjoy Skype. Yes. Okay.
And again, it's what I'm used to.
But it always happens, right? That you like what you're used to and what you use. The reason I like Skype is you can change the background. So now you're teaching them about digestion. You can even make your background the inside of the digestive tract, right? And then there's wonderful little reactions that the children can use. So it's difficult to always see what they're doing. And a lot of them don't switch their cameras on because they're saving data, but they've got wonderful little things. So there can be a crying face. There's even a person throwing up, which I don't think I want them to use, but there's lovely little things for them. So it's quite interactive, right? And I find that, I don't know why, because to me, you know better than me, but I would think that it would be the quality of the computer's speaker and auditory, whatever, that would control the sound. But it seems to me that Skype is more a wider, a room thing than a straight in front of it thing.
And there's probably settings one can play on Zoom to improve the audibility.
Okay.
So for instance, on Teams, there's a background noise suppression filter that you can put on, that it takes noises away. If something like that is on with Zoom, and the immediate person isn't in front of the PC like yourself, you might find it considers it to be background noise and it just doesn't.
And what happens is, like my son said that to me because we were in a meeting, because we're getting this app where, and remember, he said, it's you've got a lot going on in the background. Do you remember when we had that meeting and we had to mute ourselves so that we didn't interfere with everybody else? And after a while, when we were doing principals meetings, I remember at one stage there were 12 schools and they were all over. So from the far, in the middle of the bush to in Johannesburg to us in Springs, what they did is they would say, mute yourself and switch off your camera. And then it's only when you're asked to speak that you then switch on and speak.
Yeah. So what's nice of Zoom is you hold the space bar and speak.
Yeah.
So there are little nice features that Zoom has.
Yes, they have really wonderful things. And the things Ma'am Luz does, I don't know half of them. So she's going to help the teachers and enrich us with it, little things, because there's all kinds of teachers that have jumped on board and done YouTube videos with exciting things you can do on Zoom. So I'm thinking, you know, we don't need to always have them doing the same stuff at the same time. So say Ma'am Lorato were doing or is doing grade 3, perhaps the grade 3s have gone for swimming and she might decide to do something with the people online, right? And vice versa. And I'm contemplating the separation of the online. It's just the number of participants that are a problem right now. Okay, so if we could just promote it a little bit. I remember Javier Steady saying to me we would have so many takers. And it did work so well last year, but our takers never increased. And I know Ma'am Piri invited everyone from her previous grade 1 and 2, but they were not really interested. And demanding. And what happens is, and unless the parents are home and prepared to help the children, I was thinking about my learners and learners that could take a break, and I'm looking at grade 10. Do you know that it's probably Carla and Sinako? Maybe a fancy grade 11, right? And there's 1 or 2 children where, you know, Jojo's the only of the senior onlines that does that, right? You can just leave her in the work, she'll just do it. But other children, they need that motivation, that pushing. And it's normal, kids are kids. So I think a lot of the parents have found that they need, their children need to be in school. Sure. So that's why our demand is not increasing.
You put the document together, and you understand what you wanted the kids to do. You've now got an individual who's not a teacher, who doesn't understand the materials, looking at this, what's the instruction to the kid? And you know, I try to send out even the timetable just so we can run together when I can. And I've told Nelsa, you know what, you're frustrating Loretta because she's got classes to run. And she wants, well, I've got to teach my kid and I don't have the instructions, so she'll pick up the phone and she'll phone. So I've actually cautioned her just to understand that you are busy with the classes.
So maybe we can do just like, you know, try to separate it. There's such a beautiful butterfly on the rose. Can you see the rose of the butterfly? Sorry, I just always notice those things. But maybe what we can do is stagger it a bit so that the teacher can give that little bit of undivided attention. And I'm not going to say do it at break, because the teacher needs to pop into the bathroom and have a coffee. Otherwise, she can't function anymore. But let's try our best to make it better. Let's try our best to make it work with the best of having it in the class and with the best of maybe separating a bit. Okay. And I'll keep thinking, as you know, I always do. I will keep looking for solutions and thinking of new ways that we can do it. I would like them to touch base. Come in and touch base. Okay.
From my side, if I can assist with anything.
All right, because we do have a few parts of the school where the Wi-Fi is still a problem.
So, I mean, and I've told Mr. Pinar about the cable. So when he's ready for me to bring it through, that we put it through.
All right, so families and people online, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this meeting unless you've thought of any more ideas you'd like to share with us. Does anybody have anything else that they'd like to say? No. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a little breakdown of what we discussed and how we can improve it and what we'd like to do. And then, and also we're going to send you a proper timetable. All right, and see how we can make it better than it was. I do think we're going to need a few practical things. I'm very happy for them to do their practical things at home, because I always see the lovely videos and things sent to me. If it's something that's too difficult to do at home, then you can schedule a time with us. Okay, but obviously we need to see how we can manage it. Okay, it is a very bright group and I don't think they have academic problems or need much support, right? So it's very nice, it's very exciting. I would love to be able to teach them. Maybe if I get more of an assistant, I'll come and teach some of the lessons myself, because I really enjoy that. You know, I specialized in gifted children, and for me, that's stimulation, and it's so exciting to see how their little minds work. But thank you for your time. Thank you for your input. If you have any other ideas.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. If you have any ideas at all, please just send me a little WhatsApp so that I can contemplate it, and then I will put something together and we'll make it work. Today's Tuesday, so we've still got 3 days this week. I'm right, eh? So we'll see if we can send something out for tomorrow, today, and then we'll look forward and see what we can do from there. Okay, so thanks again. Thank you for coming. Yeah, and we'll make it work. You know my belief, there's no problems, only solutions. We'll find the solutions. Okay, thanks so much. Okay, so what